Yep. You. What's up, y'all? Tell like it is TV, man. Let's talk about it, y'all. So first of all, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to donate. The links is in the description box. If not, that's cool. The like button is, that's right, y'all. The like button is free. All right, man. So let's get into the situation, man. I'm just going to touch on the Charleston white aspect of this situation going on with Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony. There's a few things to me that's very strange about this. One, I will definitely say, it's crazy that Karmelo Anthony just got inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, and then all of a sudden there's a kid named Karmelo Anthony that stabbed somebody, and it's like, it's like totally getting overshadowed and all that. Almost makes me think, is this even real? But anyway, if this is real, okay, because, I've been telling y'all this whole time, when Trump get back in office, is protect y'all energy 2025. Now, some of y'all might start the new year at the beginning of the year like most people do. Me, I say the first was pretty much the beginning of the year. And here it is at the top of the year, what I probably would consider the top of the year myself as well. And, whatever way y'all think about it, either or, I've been telling y'all all 2025, we are protecting our energy. They want us to be engaging in this nonsense. At the end of the day, these are two kids where, we're going to call out the hypocrisies from both sides. And it's unfortunate that one young man lost his life, and the other young man, it potentially could be going to jail for life, okay? So apparently what happened, if y'all don't know what happened, apparently they was at a track meet. The kid Austin Metcalf is actually a football player. So he was at this track meet, and Karmelo Anthony is somebody who's on the track team. All right, so apparently what happens, I guess he was under the wrong tent. According to the news, it was raining, and the kid Austin Metcalf comes over to him, tells him he has to move and all this whole other stuff. And he proceeds to, I think he grabbed him. They said he grabbed him or he pushed him, one of the two. And the kid told him, hey, don't touch me. Austin Metcalf proceeded to push him and touch him again. And Karmelo Anthony got up and stood his ground, right? And I say stand your ground because at the end of the day, when you get killings like Zimmerman, you get killings like Daniel Penny, you get killings like, what's the boy name? Kyle Rittenhouse, okay? What's funny about that is a lot of conservatives, a lot of the far right, at the end of the day are going to be on the side of Austin Metcalf. But if the roles were reversed, they're going to keep their, I seen some shit with Megyn Kelly. We'll cook on that at another time. But yeah, I seen some shit with Megyn Kelly that just disgusted me. And it just shows that a lot of these people that's conservative, far right, I like to call these people far right because they have no moral ground on anything but it being white. If it's white, it's all right. If it's not, it's a fucking problem. This young man needs to go to jail, da-da-da-da. But if it's Zimmerman, you're standing with that. If it's Daniel Penny, he's a hero. If it's Kyle Rittenhouse, he's a hero, right? It is what it is. I didn't understand why black folks was tripping so much about Kyle Rittenhouse because it wasn't like he shot any niggas. Y'all know how I feel about that. But it is what it is. But Kyle Rittenhouse absolutely should have went to jail. He broke all types of rules. His mama brought him there. Nobody got out here and ever questioned, why would your mama bring you with an AR-15, bring you over to this hostile environment to do what? And if something was to happen to Kyle Rittenhouse, then motherfuckers would have been like, oh, yeah, these thugs and hooligans out there in Wisconsin, da-da-da-da, right? But because he ended up killing somebody, they was trying to, like I said, man, listen, don't get me started with that Kyle Rittenhouse shit. Daniel Penny, y'all know I believe that Daniel Penny should have went to jail. You can get up off that man. You could have choked him to the point like, all right, cool. He but you choked that man all the way till he gave his last breath. You see what I'm saying? But as far as the Democrats and like the far left, I haven't really heard too much about them saying anything about it. I'm pretty sure I will run across that type of stuff once this is actually finished. Well, not finished, but you know, once I'm finished with the video. But I wanted to get into Charleston White because Charleston White is a big component of self-defense. Anytime somebody is threatening Charleston White, talking about they're going to do this and they're going to do that and they're going to do this and they're going to do that, Charleston White is out here pulling out guns on folks. Charleston White out here pulling out mace on folks. He pulling out knives on folks. He actually pulled out a blade on somebody. He actually pulled out a goddamn baton and proceeded to bust somebody's head open with that shit. But Charleston White will take his ass up here and just put all this demonization on this kid, right? It's already unfortunate, you know what I mean? What happened is somebody lost their life. But at the end of the day, you know, that kid didn't have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got people that's there that's running the track meet to come and escort this kid if he's actually in the wrong spot. Who is him to... Oh, and then I'm going to put my hands on that man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put my hands on that man on top of that. Like, whatever happens after that, it's fair game. What if he got up and hit old boy one time and actually killed him? What if it wasn't even a knife? What if he just got up and punched him one time and killed him? You know what I'm saying? Y'all would still hold that same energy about, oh, he didn't have to do that. Austin Metcalf is a good kid. Well, Karmelo Anthony is a good kid too. He's a good kid. He's on a track team. Personally, what I think old boy thought he was going to punk old boy because he's a football player. Now, any of y'all ever been to high school and played sports and shit like that, y'all know at the track players, we don't really look at them as being like tough or anything like that. Real talk, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe it's different in today's time, but, you know, we kind of look at them like, nigga, get out of here. You know, even though some football players and some basketball players would play track, would run track, but, you know, that wasn't like, you know, it just wasn't the thing. It is what it is, right? So honestly, what I think he thought he was going to go over there and punk that kid. That's what I think happened. And like the conservatives like to say when it comes down to Donald Trump, they fucked around and found out. Now, like I said, it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate at the end of the day. But when it comes down to the situation with Charleston White, man, this dude is a whole hypocrite. And what I believe is that it looked like his ass is down at the police precinct. It's like they picked his ass up and told him, nigga, you want to get out? Nigga, you better cut a jig. You better cut a jig, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You out here in Texas too? Yep, you better cut a jig for Austin Metcalf. And that's exactly what Charleston White did in front of the police station. Allegedly he's in front of the police station. So they told his ass, nigga, you want to get free? Nigga, you better get out here and demonize the black community over this individual incident that happened between a black kid and a white kid, okay? So let's get into this.
No wonder God can't bless black people, because black people got a heart of retribution and vengeance and violence and anger. They want to get back at white people. No wonder Dr. King them could get some things and we can't. Because Dr. King them said, hey, man, don't hit them back. Hey, man.
All right, so now Charleston White is out here lying to the black community about Dr. King. Don't put Dr. King in your Conan, nigga. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. Now, like I said, you're going to have some people feel like that's black, actually. That's going to feel like, man, he ain't have to stab that boy. You know what I'm saying? And some of us could be like, yeah, he ain't have to stab that boy, but Kyle Rittenhouse didn't have to go up there and shoot them people neither. And Daniel Penny didn't have to go out there and choke that boy out till he couldn't breathe any fucking more. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking Derek Chauvin didn't have to stay on top of goddamn George Floyd until his ass stopped breathing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to do it, but these situations happen. George Zimmerman didn't have to happen. Okay? So these are all unfortunate situations, okay, at the end of the motherfucking day, okay? But to get out here and see, black people, this is why we curse. We got vengeance and this, that, and the third. But nigga, you're up here making videos about dead people and talking about fuck them and they grave and I'm gonna piss on they grave and fuck they mama and all this whole other shit. You're constantly doing this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Constantly getting up here talking crazy to the black community. You know what I'm saying? And then when somebody want to do something to your ass, because you're bullying, you're cyber bullying, Charleston White. So according to what you're saying about bullying and all this whole other shit, you need to be holding that same energy then, fam. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I agree with some shit Charleston White do, and then there's a lot of shit I don't agree with. I feel like sometimes he takes shit way too far. Is he funny? Is he entertaining? Yes. But some shit he do be taking way too far. You know what I mean? And to throw Dr. King in that, Dr. King ain't get shit at the end of the day. Let's keep that all the way 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, I got love for the rest in peace to Dr. King. But when Dr. King realized that he was fucking over his own people, that's when they took him out. So don't get up here and say, oh, this is why Dr. King was able to get. Dr. King said, don't hit him, don't hit him, don't hit him. Yeah, and Dr. King also wasn't out here violent neither, and they took his ass out when he stopped buck dancing and cooning for the immigrants. Pretty much, that's what civil rights was all about. It was about immigration. One had nothing to do with black folk. Black folks was doing fine. You know what I'm saying? Black folks was doing fine during it. Matter of fact, shout out to Dane Calloway because he did a whole breakdown about this whole Dr. King shit. But you even had black folks that was against Dr. King. Okay? And like, yo, this nigga is fucking shit up. What you mean, dog? Like, this is why Dr. King gets the stigma of, oh, Dr. King want to lay up with white women. You know what I'm saying? That's why he gets that stigma about that shit. Because, you know, allegedly, Dr. King had a fetish for the snow bunny. You know what I'm saying? And he was knocking them snow bunnies down, allegedly. All right? But when he found out that everybody was getting elevated besides his people, he decided this. He was like, whoa. I got to explain this shit to my people, and then that's when they took him out. So Dr. King really ain't get nothing, Charleston White. Anyway, let me keep going.
And them people got way more. Now this group say, let's kill them. Let's kill them. But show kids, you hear about kids every day in the hood schools getting bullied, but y'all don't have this much outrage for bullying. They have a no bullying month, but y'all don't have this much outrage. But now all of a sudden it's out, let's kill the bully. Most of y'all are bullies. Talk to them. Most of y'all, come on, cuz, OG bullies. Come on, Crip Blood bullies. But now we want to kill the bully. When most of black children go to school every day and have to face a bully, why you think they got to wear Michael Jordan tennis shoes? But now we got a problem with bullies, huh? When have we ever told our kids to go kill the bully? We taught our kids how to stand up to the bully. No matter if it was two of them, fight both of them.
All right. And Charleston White, we can agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I can agree with what Charleston White was talking about. I actually was talking to my mom today, which is funny. I haven't spoken to my mom in a little minute. But I was talking to her, and she was telling me about a story when I was younger and went to school. And, you know, I was getting in trouble because it's like it was a couple of kids though, but it was a couple kids, they just kept fucking with me and shit. But you know, like I was always the one that react, so I'd be the one getting caught reacting, you know what I'm saying? But I was never the one to start this shit, you know what I'm saying? I was always caught reacting. So, you know, I kept getting in trouble by these same few kids and telling the teachers this, that, and the third. And one day, you know, my mom was so frustrated, you know, because DSS and shit like that ended up getting involved in our life based off, you know, my tantrums and shit I was throwing. And so, you know, one day I'm coming home and, you know, my mom was like, because when I got home, I was fine. Like, my living situation was perfectly fine. I go out, play with my friends. It was just when I got to school, it was just these two motherfuckers that just kept fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. One day, whatever, my mom, she couldn't make the meeting. Like I said, it was just me and my mom. We was living in a different city. We had no help, no nothing. You know what I mean? It was just us two. So if she got to get called into work, she can't leave work. She can't leave work. You know what I'm saying? She got to work. She can't work. Bills ain't going to get paid. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And she could potentially lose her fucking job. All right. So anyway, my mom ain't make one of the meetings. And they end up like getting us like a caseworker, pretty much DSS, right? So anyway, my mom was hot one day, and I was hot too, right? Because I was coming from school, and I was telling my mom, man, she was like, man, shit, hit that boy, go ahead, hit that boy then. So bang, I went to school, and motherfuckers started fucking with me, and this time around, instead of lashing out and yelling shit back at him, I just got up and handled business. You know what I'm saying? I got up and stood on the business at the end of the day. Then when I stood on the business, I'm wrong. We gotta push the case further with DSS. You know what I'm saying? But all I was doing was really defending myself because these niggas kept fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? So to a certain, and that's why I never really liked bullies, even when I was going to even when I got older and was going to high school and things like that. I never really fucked with bullies like that. Like if a nigga was bullying somebody, I'd be like, nigga, leave that nigga alone, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that was me. Plus I knew I could defend myself. And plus I was cool with everybody too. For the most part. I wasn't cool with everybody, but I was cool with most people. So if I was able to, not saying that I'm like OG in the school and shit, but like I said, niggas know me, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, man, leave that nigga alone, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like you be on a block or something, somebody ain't really on that type of time and shit. And you like, man, and motherfucker trying to show off and whoop a nigga ass and shit for no reason. Like, man, leave that nigga alone, man. That nigga ain't did nothing to you, dog. You know what I'm saying? So it was that type of shit going on. So like I said, I do agree with a certain aspect of, all right, if a motherfucker bullying your ass, shit, nigga, that's what them hands is for. Know what I'm saying? You got all rights to do that. But, like I said, we see these cases go on where, these cases that they put in the mainstream media, and this is why they do this shit purposely. This is why I say y'all got to protect y'all energy out here. You know what I'm saying? Because they do this shit purposely. Like I said, if the roles were reversed, I'm telling you right now, the Megan Foxes, the Charleston Whites would have been talking about how that kid deserved to die. He a demon. He out here fucking with people and starting with people. What if he would have did that to your kid and da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? But come on, Charleston White, man. This is an extreme low for this nigga to be doing this shit. Like I said, I think they told his ass, hey nigga, you want us to take some of that time off, right? That case you just got and keep getting arrested and shit. We'll leave you alone for a little while. Give us your thoughts on that Karmelo and Austin situation.
But you don't put your life in danger to kill unless you got killing in you. But if you listen to kill music, you got killing in you. There's no way her kids kill. I know a nigga stabbed the girl 93 times, but before he got to 93, he dropped the knife. She begged and she pleaded. He dropped the knife. But because he was abused and he had anger and he had rage inside of him for what his daddy was doing to him, he finished up. What's in you gonna come out of you.
All right, but Charleston, you got to put more context to that. Why would a man because a man's dad is doing something to him, he's going to go ahead and he's going to stab his broad? Charleston, you're leaving some shit out, dog. Don't no man just get up here and just be stabbing bitches to 93 times because they getting their ass whooped by their father, okay? That maybe he was getting his ass whooped by his father, and maybe he probably deserved those ass whoopings and earned some of those ass whoopings, and maybe not so, right? Maybe not so as well. All right, but that female had to do something. You know what I'm saying? She had to either, maybe the nigga caught her cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like when I think of people raging out and crashing out like that, it's normally the woman got caught cheating or the woman broke up with him and he can't handle that shit. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is capable of handling a breakup. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that could have been the case, but it ain't got nothing to do. Don't put that nigga daddy out there like that because his daddy was whooping his ass. He probably earned them ass whoopings, all right?
And good kids don't stab people to death, y'all. This is a kid with some trauma. Let's get the background story first.
Now, Charleston White want to get a background story on this kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog. Come on, dog. So we going to use whatever situations that he may have ever been in school to lead this case And I heard one of the reporters saying some shit like that. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. Y'all don't be doing this shit and digging all through a nigga whole elementary and high school, because he's in high school, but I'm saying like middle school. Y'all want to go through all of that just to determine whether or not this shit was self-defense? It sounds like self-defense to me. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like self-defense to me. Could he has used another form of self-defense? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna sit up here and hold y'all niggas on that. Absolutely, he could have. He could have just fought it out. You know what I'm saying? But who knows what that kid was going through. And then last thing a motherfucker gonna come do is motherfucker come fucking with you when you ain't fucking with nobody. You know what I'm saying? You over there minding your business. This nigga come over here and got the audacity to think he can come over there and put his hands on you. All right? And then you warned the nigga like, yo, fam, I'm telling you right now, this ain't what you want, fam. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to crash out. You know what I'm saying? He told the nigga, fuck around and find out. And, you know, unfortunately, the kid lost his life. Okay? You know, we see shit like this happen all the time in the streets. You know, like I said, even when you look at cases like with women, right? If a woman is getting abused and shit like that by her partner and she turn around and kill that motherfucker at the end of the day, that woman is pretty much going to be protected under self-defense. You see what I'm saying? Not all states work like that, but Texas definitely works like that. Texas is a stand your ground state. Them in Florida literally, I don't know if y'all remember the case of it was an old white man and a black dude. This was a few years ago, or maybe it might have been a little longer than that. But anyway, the old white dude was, you know, acting wild and shit like that. Black dude went out there, stood on business. You know what I'm saying? White dude was talking crazy, this, that, and the third, and proceeded to put his hands on that man. Black dude started motherfucking giving his ass the beats, hands and feet. And old white man went to his car, grabbed a gun out, and killed that brother, okay? Killed that brother at the end of the day, right? That white man is free right now. That brother is dead, okay? If I'm not mistaken, that was either in Texas or that was in Florida. You know what I mean? And I remember that shit because if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn I did a video about that. But, you know, my channel's been getting deleted and shit like that, so it is what it is. But, yeah, so, like, I remember these cases, and I remember some of these talking heads that y'all probably seeing out here have a whole different, you know, or they get silent. They get kind of quiet. You see what I'm saying? They'll act like they don't know nothing about that case, all right? Unless it gets brought to the national news and shit like that. Then that's the only time. And even at that, they'll address it as, well, you know, he had to defend himself. He was an old white man, and this big black beast of a black dude was beating it. He was going to kill him. He was going to kill him the way he was beating on him. Know what I'm saying? And justify that shit. Know what I'm saying? So this is why it's always a slippery slope when it comes down to this type of shit in these particular states. And it's really race-based, man. I just got to be honest about that shit. It is what it is. Just tell like it is TV. Know what I'm saying? And we're going to tell like it is. Fuck all that. You know what I mean? If we're going by what, you know, the shit I've seen in Texas, the shit I've seen in these quote-unquote stand-your-ground states, this brother should be getting free and at the end of his case. He should be getting free. I think he is going to be sitting down for some time unless he gets the $1 million bond, which is very likely that he actually could get that. Know what I'm saying? But if he doesn't, he's going to be sitting in there for this whole case. All right. One thing that I found, you know, when I was listening to the mom talk, you know, she was addressing oh, this boy, and that shit kind of really like, you know, well, these are young men. You see what I'm saying? These are young men at the end of the day. They're not men. They're young men at this point. You know what I mean? So to be addressing them as boys, it just kind of was like, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, you know, as somebody that's a parent, I feel for both parties. You see what I'm saying? I feel for both parties. I feel bad for Karmelo Anthony and, you know, what he got to go through right now. And if I'm not mistaken, I was listening to something, and they was talking about this kid done saved somebody's life before. You know what I'm saying? When he was 14 years old, Karmelo Anthony went out there and saved some kid life that was drowning and shit like that. So he can't be some thugged out criminal like the media wants y'all to are trying to portray him out to be with some of these pictures y'all see out here. This is why, man, that shit just be wild sometimes how the media be trying to spin this shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I say y'all got to protect y'all energy out here, because they want y'all to get into the race game. They want y'all to get into the race game. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, focus on y'all families. You know what I'm saying? Focus on getting some paper. Focus on getting a better job. Focus on what matters at the end of the day. A lot of this shit, we in assimilation. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. Straight up and we in the matrix. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, nigga, we in the matrix. If you allow this shit to fluster and shit like that, bruh, you're going to be depressed. You're going to be on pins and needles. You're going to be with your head on a swivel out here. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't live like that, because you should have your head on a swivel, right? But at the end of the day, like I said, man, these people want you to be involved in this race war, right? It's out there in Texas. Texas is a Republican state. They're going to eventually get the Democrats into this shit some way, some form of fashion. They're going to have this shit going back and forth, and some of y'all going to get y'all energies intertwined with this shit at the end of the day. Meanwhile, now you're going to work with an attitude, dealing with motherfuckers at your job and shit like that. You already got enough shit on your plate at your job where you working, and some of these motherfuckers might be stone cold racists and doing bullshit and sabotaging and shit like that. You already dealing with this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? You fuck around, crash out following this shit too tough. See what I'm saying? And especially if you over here listening to goddamn alt-right media or goddamn far-right conservative media, oh yeah, you're going to crash out at work. And this is why I say it's important, man, pay attention to y'all families, dog. You know what I'm saying? If you got kids, love on your kids, man. Be more to your kids. If you somebody like myself that's not with the mother of the children at the end of the day, then, you know, shit. You know what I mean? You got to motherfucking start being around a little bit more. Start coming around more. Start talking to them every day. Things like that. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, man, like I said, man, you got to be focused on you at the end of the day, man. The people that you got around you and your loved ones, man, that's all you need to be worried and focus on. Anything else, we can decipher and talk about, and some shit is going to be what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? If Karmelo Anthony get locked up, I'm going to feel bad for the brother. If he don't get locked up, I'm going to feel bad. I feel bad for the Metcalf family as well. You know what I'm saying? Because to have children, and, you know, I can only imagine the pain that they parents is feeling right now. But the father, you know, he seems like, I'm not saying that he's okay with the situation, but I'm pretty sure he knows that his son could be a little, you know, could be on some bullshit. And he probably knows his son was on some bullshit. This is why he's not pushing as hard as somebody you would think that, where they just innocently just got up and just rage stabbed somebody to fucking death. You see what I'm saying? He know his son was probably on some bullshit. Seen a nigga, and, you know, they probably talk a lot of shit about black folks and shit like that. And his son thought he can go up there and he can bully this weak-ass track star, like, yeah, this little weak-ass track star, nigga. Yeah, man, move, nigga. Get the fuck up out of here, boy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he said all that. I don't even think he said all that, but that was his mentality, okay? That he was way out of bounds, out of pocket for that. Like I said, that's what they got people, staff at these track meets. They got coaches at these track meets, okay? Where they could have went and grabbed somebody. To go take that shit into their own hands, it's just unfortunate. And this is just a lesson learned, man, that sometimes hey, man, it ain't for you to be up here playing superhero out here, all right? Because some motherfuckers is really on that type of time, and you can get your ass killed out here. Straight up and down. Straight up and down, you can get your ass killed. So everybody ain't on this time, man. When it comes down, you thinking you're going to be pushing and punking people and shit like that. Your ass gonna get stabbed to death or get shot out here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is, man. But Charleston White, man, this dude is unreal. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I think they got his ass outside the fucking police station and told his ass he cut a jig real quick. They motherfucking let some of them cases go. All right? That's what I personally think. But like I said, I do feel bad for both parties, though. Both families. It's very unfortunate what happened. You know what I'm saying? But this is why I keep telling y'all, with this Trump administration coming in, y'all niggas better protect y'all energy. You know what I mean? Keep protecting that energy at the end of the day. Yeah, this is an unfortunate situation that happened in America, but you got niggas dying in the hood every day. Right now, there's somebody done got their ass whooped after school. Don't nobody give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? It ain't making news, none of that. Somebody done just got their ass beat by the police. That shit ain't making the news. Nobody giving a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? So just because they shoving shit in your face at the end of the day, don't mean that that's something that you need to be intaking at the end of the day, because I told you they're going to be trying to create all chaos during this man's administration. You know what I'm saying? You got this whole shit going on with the tariffs and everybody wilding out. You got the shit they just had a few days ago, April 5th and shit. This little fucking I don't know, some little fucking parade, they little protest joint they had and shit. Shit was funny as hell to me. I actually got to do a video about that, but yeah, man, y'all black folks, y'all better not be getting y'all self involved in none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down, you better not. Don't be taking your ass out there protesting for some bullshit at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? What this administration gonna do is the same shit every other administration gonna do. They gonna do what the fuck they want to do. All right. So that's just what it is. You know what I mean? People, oh man, Trump with the tariffs and he with the tariffs. But Obama put the same tariffs on China and all that shit too. You know what I mean? So I was around for that. So at the end of the day, I'm not really buying into none of that. You know what I mean? America's got to do what America's got to do. You know what I mean? And I'm standing on American business, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? oh, Trump this, Elon Musk that, Elon. I'm done with it, dog. I'm done with it. Focus on what y'all niggas need to focus on at the end of the day. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? You feel that strongly about politics and shit like that, maybe your ass need to go become a politician, all right? If you're not going to become a politician, then I guess it is what it is, you know what I mean? Because like I said, these people that's in office, they going to do what the fuck they want to do, all right? But anyway.
Just because he out there in Frisco, black people, y'all wrong, and no wonder God got you cursed. I'm starting to think that curse on us is real, that the Hebrews say. This group hearts is hateful. No compassion. I remember telling my brother one time, God will never let you out of jail, nigga, if you ain't got no remorse for the people you killed. No remorse for the man family. No remorse for the man's boy's father, mother, brother. But y'all got so much for Lil Ronnie, and Lil Ronnie brought death on himself. Look, come on now. Lil Ronnie brought death on himself. Y'all had all the compassion. But here it is, a white kid, two little boys having some boy issues. And one little boy killed another little boy. You mean to tell me you black people ain't got no compassion for neither side? That's why you curse that.
All right, so now Charleston White out here wagging his finger at the whole black community. Brother, man, everybody don't feel like that. Everybody feels the same way. You know what I'm saying? Niggas just keep it. The shit you see online is, one, these race baiters. That's number one. Number two, okay, at the end of the day, you're going to have these motherfuckers on the far left, these race baiters on the far left, these race baiters on the far right, and Charleston White. I would have to consider Charleston White maybe a race baiter from the far right, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because this nigga right here, dog, be cooning, buck dancing, and yeah, it's pathetic at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got no nigga sound like goddamn Dr. Snoop Dogg at the 94 Sorcerer. Y'all ain't got no love for Snoop Dogg and Death Row? Hey, nigga, shut your ass up. The fuck is you talking about? Of course niggas feel some remorse about that shit. You putting that shit on the whole black community like everybody out here. Yeah, that's what that boy get. That's what that boy get. That's what that boy get. Charleston White, did you feel like that when Daniel Penny choked out goddamn, what's the kid name? The little skinny little black kid out there in New York when he choked his ass out to death? Was you out there, man, y'all folks out here, y'all ain't got, y'all conservatives out here, y'all ain't got no remorse in y'all heart? Y'all ain't got no remorse in y'all heart for what that man did? He killed that boy. He killed that homeless man out there on the train like that. Watched that boy take his last breath and was still choking him. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you ain't got nothing to say about that. You ain't even have nothing to say about that. And if you did have something to say, you was riding with the nigga that choked him out. He was a hero. Okay? Kyle Rittenhouse running around here gunning folks down and shit like that. Know what I'm saying? You running around here, you know what I mean? I'm with Kyle Rittenhouse. But this situation going on now, all of a sudden, black folks, we curse. We ain't got no remorse. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the nerve of a buck dancing coon ass, buck dancing sellout ass nigga, dog. You know what I'm saying? And them people got them strings up that nigga back. That's why he doing this video for real. Because I personally don't think Charleston White give a fuck. I don't think he really give a fuck for real. You know what I'm saying? But them people told him, they pulled them strings on his back, say, hey, Charleston, come here real quick. You want these charges off, right? Yeah, come see us down here at the station real quick. We got to talk to you about something. Them niggas told that nigga, man, look, you cut this jig right here, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We'll let some of these charges off. That nigga ran, he couldn't wait to get out the goddamn police station. Y'all telling me right now, I'll do the video right here. I'll do it right outside the building. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, but that shit look like a police station to me.
That's why your situation, God is looking at y'all hearts. That's why your finances can't be increased. That's why your children won't go to the NFL. God is looking at y'all hearts.
That nigga said, that's why your children won't go to the NFL. Charleston White, the NFL is dominated by black people. What are you talking about? That's what I mean. This nigga is he's definitely cutting a jig for sure. Somebody, them people got that control of his ass, told that hoe ass nigga, hey, look, dog, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, you get out here, cut this jig, nigga. You know what I mean? We let some of them charges off for your black ass. You know what I'm saying? Because come on, fam. Come on, fam. What are we doing out here, man? What are you talking about, y'all?
Y'all ought to be ashamed. That's why your children are dying and being murdered the way they're being murdered. They've been your grandchildren. Man, you cursing.
All right, so, that's why your children ain't going to the NFL. They ain't going to the NBA. They ain't gonna be boxing champions. They ain't gonna own no businesses. Charleston White, brother, man, just in case you didn't know, maybe you don't watch sports, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But the NFL is dominated by black folks. The NBA is dominated by black folks. So what are you talking about? Black folks own businesses all across the goddamn nation. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So to get out here and make it seem as if niggas just ain't got shit is kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? Or we ain't making it to the NFL because we just keep running into uncircumcised. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I said, I just wanted to do this video as far as Charleston White goes. We'll get into the whole news report and all of that. Because there's still some stuff that I want to watch. I seen what the father had to say, seen what the mother had to say. I want to see what the parents of the kid Karmelo had to say. Like I said, I feel bad for both parties. You know what I mean? I truly do with somebody that, that has kids. You know what I mean? So, that's always tough. They both lost their lives. You know what I mean? But this is a learning lesson where in the situation of Austin Metcalf, he could have handled that shit a different way. In the same way in Karmelo Anthony could have handled that shit in a different way. You know what I'm saying? He could have went and fought that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. But who knows what he was going through? Who knows what he's been through? All right? For him to get to an extreme where he like, look, nigga, I'm crashing out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to crash out on a nigga real quick. You know what I'm saying? So who knows, man? But like I said, it's a valuable lesson learned. Tell your kids, you know what I'm saying, all that bullying and think you're going to be putting your hands on folks and shit like that. Better stop that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Better stop that shit. It is what it is. And then as far as the situation with Karmelo Anthony, he could have handled that a little different. I'm not even going to sit up here and hold y'all on that. You know what I'm saying? If a nigga was just going to have to get jumped, fuck it. If they was going to jump his ass, then yeah, him running grabbing that bag and shit, doing what he needed to do, then he was all justified. I still think he's justified for it. But, it is what it is. You know what I mean? If they find his ass guilty I think what they'll probably end up doing is hitting him with manslaughter. If anything, I think he'll definitely go down for manslaughter. I don't think he's not going to not do any time. I think he's definitely going to he's going to get a manslaughter charge. But if he gets off, he gets off. You know what I'm saying? I look at the same situation like how they look at Daniel Penny. or goddamn Kyle Rittenhouse. You know what I mean? You got some of these motherfuckers out here on the far right talking about they want to see Derek Chauvin, Trump pardon Derek Chauvin and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I mean, I ain't trying to hear that shit. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So if that boy get off, that boy get off. You know what I mean? We just keeping that same energy. And that's why I keep telling y'all this year, y'all better be protecting y'all energy, especially with this Trump administration. They trying to get this race shit popping. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? Shit start getting, they trying to make distractions and shit like that. How could we get the people to, not be paying attention? Because everybody's paying attention to different things, but most people are definitely going to be paying attention to situations like this where it's a race. You know what I'm saying? That's always going to drag people into the situation. It's no different from when we watching boxing. Boxing is the most, you know what I mean? Like boxing has to be like the most racist-based sport probably in the fucking world, because most people are gonna ride with whoever fighter it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna hold y'all. When Terrence Crawford and Karmelo Anthony fight, I meant Carmelo Anthony. When Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight, I know Terrence Crawford is up against it, going against Canelo. But fuck that, I'm riding with my nigga from Nebraska. That's what I'm riding with. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, Canelo, he too big. Man, fuck all that. I'm riding with my mans in them. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Now, I don't mean I got beef with the Mexicans and none of that. And I'm pretty sure the Mexicans gonna be like, look, I fuck with Bud, but hey, nigga, it's La Raza around this motherfucker. Know what I'm saying? All right, cool. I respect it. Know what I'm saying? Or a nigga like Lomachenko and shit, repping the Ukraine and shit, and he fighting Tank Davis or some shit like that, nigga. Oh, no, actually, no, when he fought Devin Haney. Know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm rolling with Dev. Fuck it. Know what I'm saying? I'm rolling with Dev all day. You know what I'm saying? And the Ukrainians gonna roll with Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's just the part of the game. So, of course, and those fights always have the most success. You know what I mean? Because you got people rooting for this guy for this particular reason, and the same thing vice versa. Everybody else sprinkles out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else will fill out at the end of the day. They just want to see a good fight. But most people are paying attention to this shit because they want to see their guy win. Straight up and down. All right? But Charleston White, man, you a hypocrite like a motherfucker, dog. All this shit about self-defense, you done out here pulling blades out on motherfuckers. You done pull the heat out on motherfuckers. You done pull pepper spray out on motherfuckers. You done pull the knife out on motherfuckers. And you out here got the nerve to be talking about what happened to, he could have fought him and shit. Like, well, Charleston White, you could have did the same thing. You ain't want no wreck with the niggas that was out here trying to fight your ass and shit. You know what I'm saying? You want to pull out goddamn guns and shit and weapons and shit. You don't even want to fight fair. You know what I'm saying? But you up here chastising this kid about what the fuck happened between these two young men at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's pathetic, dog. You was better off not even saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just say this too. If y'all niggas going to get out here and y'all just going to just jump on the black community about this shit, because this ain't a whole black community issue. You know what I'm saying? If y'all gonna do some shit like that, y'all just shut the fuck up. That's what y'all need to do. Y'all need to shut y'all ass the fuck up and sit y'all ass down. You know what I'm saying? If you're a conservative, because we already seen a few of these videos from these goddamn buck dancing ass conservatives and shit. The Candace Owens gonna come out here and shit. She out here still talking about George Floyd and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I fuck with Candace on certain things, but then there's certain things I just be like, man, this bitch is a fucking coon. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. She ain't even an ancient American at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But, yeah, Charleston White, man. Yeah, man, that's some hoe-ass shit you doing, dog. That's some hoe-ass shit. Y'all niggas need to just be quiet on this one. You know what I'm saying? Let the courts do what the courts gonna do, because they gonna do what the fuck they want to do anyway. It don't matter how much the outrage it is. You know what I'm saying? Majority of people think OJ killed goddamn Nicole Simpson. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was her name, right? Majority of people thought, in public opinion, everybody thought OJ did it. You know what I'm saying? OJ got acquitted because OJ ain't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. They came back and they was still so salty about that case. They gave that nigga 10 years for getting his own shit back. You know what I'm saying? How a nigga go to jail for robbing his own memorabilia back? Like, the shit was stolen from him. He goes back and strong arms his shit back. Hey, man, y'all got me fucked up in here, man. Give me my shit back. And they gave that nigga 10 years. That shit crazy. So if that kid Karmelo get off, man, listen. You know what I'm saying? That nigga better be laying low, straight up and down, because they're going to be looking to get this nigga on anything. You know what I'm saying? If that nigga get out here, he better just be careful at the end of the day, because they're going to be looking to smoke that nigga on something. They can't get him with this, they're going to get him with that. Same shit they did with R. Kelly. They do this shit with a lot of black people. They did it with R. Kelly. R. Kelly got off in that whole situation with the sex tape and all that shit. And they came back years later and got this nigga when he was actually dating chicks that was of legal age, that was his girlfriends. And they just went and grabbed a bunch of his ex-girlfriends, made this nigga look like some kind of monster and shit like that. And and then they locked this nigga up. And R. Kelly is still locked up for the Mann Act. That shit is ridiculous, dog. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, you know, just certain shit, man, you know, you just gotta step back and let this shit be what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Point blank, period. But like I said, we'll do another video on this because, like I said, I definitely want to get into the parents and do a video on that. And I definitely want to get into some of this far right talking points that they out here talking about, because they're full of shit. You know what I'm saying? They're full of shit, because anytime this shit is the other way around, oh, they automatically standing. you already know what team they on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, damn, to see that shit that blatant like that, it's like, damn, y'all know just, you know, a few months ago when this nigga choked this nigga out on the train, y'all was applauding that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now this nigga standing up for himself. Now this nigga is some kind of thugged out criminal. He been gang banging for years and shit like that. This is an honor student. This is a track star. This is somebody, you know, this is a kid. Both kids actually were good kids in school, good GPAs. It's just a very unfortunate situation that happened. So y'all protect y'all energy out there. Continue to keep protecting y'all energy out there. Don't be getting all these fucking group chats and all these goddamn Twitter spaces and shit like that, arguing with folks and listening to folks and stressing yourself out and shit like that. It ain't worth it. Go get you some money. Go get you a job. All right? Some of y'all got too much time on your hands. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a fucking job or something, bro, man. You know what I'm saying? Sis, go get you a job. You know what I'm saying? You too worried about Donald Trump and all these other niggas. Go get you a job. Go talk to your family and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? There's way more important shit out here in the world than some shit going on TV that you ain't got no control over any goddamn way. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But anyway, don't get mad at me, man. I just got to tell it like it is, man. So shout out the day ones. Shout out the new ones, man. Make sure y'all niggas hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you want to donate. The links is in the description box. If not, that's cool. The like button is, that's right, y'all. The like button is free. Charleston White, you wrong for that one, brother, man. Throwing the whole black community, you doing the shit Kanye running around here doing. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know I fuck with Kanye, but all that throwing the whole black community under the bus with that shit, dog, I'm not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling that, because you want to buck dance and coon and get on your knees for these Republicans and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? These conservatives and these folks, these federales that got their hand up your back, nigga. That's what it is, nigga. You out here cutting jizz, because anybody black, you running around here, you willing to inflict pain, violence, and shed blood. You know what I'm saying? So the nigga don't get up. You the wrong person to be up here talking about a nigga can't be have extreme levels of self-defense. You the wrong one. You know what I'm saying? Then get out here and talk about, see, that's what the Bible say, that we curse, and that's why you ain't gonna make it to the NFL. You wrong for that, dog. You wrong. But Charleston White don't give a fuck. You know, he a me nigga. You know what I'm saying? All he give a fuck about is his goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you know what I mean? To be honest, you know what I mean? And like I said, I don't really feel that Charleston White even really gives a fuck about this situation. He was just told he had to come talk about this. So that's my point on that. But anyway, we out of here, y'all. One.